Over the last few months, I've asked myself the question that probably a lot of you are asking yourself at the moment as well. Are we heading into a recession? And I am absolutely not a financial genius, so I was really curious to do some research and talk to a couple of different people in order to understand, are we heading into a recession, and what can you do? How can you prepare if you're going into a recession? So I wanted to record this YouTube video today in order to share with you all of the insights and learnings that I gathered from my research. So I would say, let's get started. Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Arndt and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer. And I am super excited to talk with you about 5 simple ways today on how to prepare for recession. Because here is the simple answer: yes, it looks like we are most probably heading into a recession based on historical data, the stock market and the real estate market. And it is a good time to ask yourself, how can I actually personally prepare to not get too hard by the recession myself? So I came up with a list of 5 very simple things that you can do in order to prepare for the recession. And honestly, no matter if we are heading into a recession or if the recession will hit us, I think those are really interesting things that you should just be aware about and prepare for in your day-to-day life anyway. So here is the first thing that I want to share with you today. Number 1, be aware of your expenses. This is a super important one and something that I have started doing about 6 years ago as I was buying this beautiful home, because at the time I was super nervous about all of the expenses that were suddenly coming my way, and I was really worried that I wasn't able to afford all of the different things. And so I sat down and I started to create an household, financial plan and an expense plan, because I wanted to be really aware of where my money was going and be more aware of how I was spending my money. So at the beginning, for the first 4 or 5 years of that exercise, I was actually using a super simple spreadsheet. I was using a spreadsheet and I literally just went through my different credit card expenses, my accounts, and I would just categorize monthly in different categories all of the money that I was spending. This might sound like a lot, but honestly, it doesn't take that long. It probably took me about an hour a month to do this exercise, and it really helped me to understand where was my money going, where was I spending a lot of money, and how could I potentially save some money in the future, right? Where could I be more conscious? Because here's the thing, if we are heading into a recession, you might want to be a little bit more aware of your money. And you can't stop saving money if you're not aware where your money is currently going. So it is really important that you're creating awareness of, first of all, where are you currently spending your money? Over the last year, I've actually started to use QuickBooks because I'm obviously a business and it's been so helpful. I love QuickBooks, and this is totally unpaid advertising here because they're not my sponsors or anything. But I really love QuickBooks, and I actually used another software in the past, FreshBooks, and I didn't love that at all. I used it for 2 years because I thought that the invoice templates looked a little bit nicer than QuickBooks, but QuickBooks from its functionality has a lot more things that you can do, and so I've been using that with my bookkeeper together this year, and it's been an absolute game changer because it's been really interesting to really track my profit and loss, obviously for my business, but still seeing in what kind of categories my money is actually going. So this is a super important exercise, and like I said, if we are heading into a recession or not, a really powerful exercise to just do to be more financially aware. And it will help you to, in case of doubt, if we are heading into a recession, make more conscious buying decisions. So for me, for example, I do like to spend sometimes a lot of money on cosmetics and on clothes and on traveling, and I know that I could very easily decrease those kind of expenses because there are a lot of things that I don't really need that I just buy because they bring me pleasure. So this is the first step that I highly encourage you to do. And if you are curious to learn more about my whole process of how I am creating that spreadsheet or how I'm using QuickBooks, then just leave me a comment down below and let me know, and I'm super happy to record a video on that as well. The second tip that I have for you today is don't add any additional debt to your life. This totally makes sense, and I think it's super self-explanatory, but If we are really heading into a recession, you obviously want to make sure that you are not spending more time, or that you're not taking additional money out of a bank account or out of a mortgage or out of like just debt in general, in order to just be a little bit more on the safer side and maybe be a little bit more conservative over the next few months in order to just watch the market and see what happens. The third tip that I have for you today is for all of those that are actually having some substantial savings laying around in your bank account at the moment. Maybe this doesn't really apply to you, but if you do have a lot of savings in your bank account, and I'm talking about maybe $100,000 or $200,000 or euros or whatever currency you are living in, then this might be a really, really good time to invest in the stock market, because a lot of millionaires are actually born out of a recession. Because the stock market is currently slowing down and is lower, it is an incredibly great time to invest in stocks, because the buy-in is super low, and then obviously they're growing back after the recession. So if you do have money lying around at the moment, then make sure, and if you don't, then make sure to invest, I want to say first of all, but second of all, if you don't know how to invest, make sure that you're maybe even talking to a financial advisor, or that you're doing more research on how to start investing in the stock market. And that brings me to the fourth tip that I want to share with you today, because before you can make this decision that you have enough money laying around in your bank account in order to invest in the stock market, you first of all want to make sure that you actually have money set aside in what I call a rainy day fund. And a rainy day fund is super simply a fund or an account where you have 3 to 6, and they sometimes even say during a recession 9 to 12 months of savings, that in case something is happening, you are safe and you don't, all of a sudden don't have any money anymore. So no matter if you are losing your job or if you don't get any bookings for your business, you are safe, right? So how I think about this is, since I have my business expense list and my expense list obviously in general as well, I know how much money I need per month in order to just survive, right? What kind of fixed expenses do I have? Groceries, and maybe my fixed business expenses as well, right? My production team, or all of the fixed expenses that I have, software and so on. And so that brings me to a certain number of money that I need to have every single month in order to just live my life. Everything else is just kind of fun money, right? But it is really important to know that number. It might be $2,000 or $4,000 or $6,000 or $10,000. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong, but you should become super, super aware what that is. And then you want to make sure that that amount of money is times 3 or times 6 or times 9 or times 12 lying in your rainy day fund. So for me, for example, at the moment I have about 4 months of rainy day savings in my rainy day fund, because I think I feel pretty safe with that. 4 months is a good chunk of time, and yeah, so that is super, super important, and I highly again encourage you to do that, no matter if we are heading into a recession or not. It's just honestly a sound financial thing to do. So do it. And finally, the last thing that I want to share with you today might be kind of unconventional or surprising to you, but if we are not able to spend the money how we usually like to spend it, like for example on clothes and cosmetics and traveling, find a new hobby that doesn't cost you a lot of money. I really, really like this tip, and something that super resonates with me, because sometimes we think that we need money in order to do things, but we don't really always need money. So there's actually a lot of incredible resources on the internet where you can learn new things. So you can, for example, create and start a new hobby and do things that you've always been wanting to do. So for example, there's a very beautiful platform called YouTube where you have access to a lot of videos that you don't have to pay a dime for, and you can learn a lot of new things. Or there's a really cool learning platform that's called Udemy. Again, there's no sponsored advertising here. I'm not working with any sponsors at the moment, but Udemy is something that's absolutely incredible. There's a ton, millions, I think, I don't know, but there's a lot of different courses on Udemy for $15 where you can learn neuroscience and cognitive behavioral therapy and coaching and really everything that your heart maybe desire. So check out any of these things and become really clear on what would you like to learn? What is something that really sparks your interest? Because during a recession, you might not have, you know, any other means in order to educate yourself, but there's so many cool ways to educate yourself at home. Or you might even just want to become better at practicing yoga, or you want to create more muscles. You want to create more muscles. Well, you want to build more muscle, and you want to do some fitness videos, right? All of these different things, again, are for free on this platform. And so I think this is a really cool way to think about it as well, because in the first place, you might become a little bit frustrated that you can't spend your money on things that you actually like to do. So find something else. That's my last tip for you today. So I hope you found all of these different things interesting and helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below if there's anything else for us non-financial gurus that we can do in order to prepare for a recession. And I'm super excited to read your comments. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope to see you on any of my other videos, and until then, see you soon.